What's up, Rams fans? Welcome back to Ram Showcase. Tonight, minicamp has started. It's like regular camp, but smaller. Plus, new uniforms. Are they close? And later, the Matthew Stafford effect, Part 2. Next on Ram Showcase.
Welcome to Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio.
What's going on, Rams fans? Welcome back to Ram Showcase right here on Sports War Radio. I'm your host, Joe Brandon, but you can and should call me Sheriff Joe Bags. I'm laying down the law for you guys tonight. A lot of stuff to get into. We're in minicamp right now, all right? It's just like regular camp, but smaller. And we got some good kind of, some nuggets coming out of minicamp, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted some nuggets, all right? And we got some nuggets. Speaking of nuggets, the Joker got MVP. That's pretty cool. Local squad, I guess. I don't really care about basketball that much, though, so I'm not trying to brag or anything. I don't care. But I do know that. Popped up a lot on my Facebook this week. We're talking new uniforms, Matthew Stafford effect, a couple of fan quesos for you guys, and like I said, just some good notes for you guys. So first, I wanted to start this because of some of the comments that I made last week, just a story that I told, and I want to let you guys know. I mean, I definitely appreciate all the people who reached out to me and sent over some condolences and stuff like that. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate it. That was really awesome. So that was cool from last week's episode that I got to I guess just share a little bit, and that it was received positively. So that's cool. Also this week though, we did see that former NFL coach Jim Fossil, he did die earlier this week. Most of us know him as Bones' dad, John Fossil, former special teams coordinator of the Los Angeles Rams. It was his father. I actually, it was awesome. In 2018, the Rams were up in Denver playing the Broncos in week 6. And actually, we got to meet Jim Fossil. And that was really cool. I'll put the photo up for you guys. For the audio listeners, I do apologize. Just picture me standing next to Jim Fossil. I got to meet him, though. It was really cool. Got to see his Super Bowl ring. It was really awesome. It was the first real Super Bowl ring I've ever seen with my own eyeballs. That was pretty cool. But yeah, definitely our condolences out to the Fossil family out there. But that's it's never positive news to hear that. So that's unfortunate. Hope that Bones is doing all right. I know he's probably got a pretty heavy heart. So, but that kind of it reminded me that because of last week, me sharing a little bit of my story with you guys. Just a little bit of what's going on with myself. And so, yeah, it's been I guess a weird time for a lot of people, I guess, but we're going to switch this around and we're going to have a good show, a good positive show. It is June 9th as of date of recording, which means I have exactly one more month of being in my 20s left. So we're getting real close there. We're trying to just live it up while we can because we're getting to the end. All right. We're getting to the end of the 20s. And I guess it's time to be an adult after that, I guess. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Let's go ahead and hop into some news. So we'll start with the Julio Jones saga that is now over because now Julio Jones has been traded to the Tennessee Titans. Of course, the Rams were in this conversation for a little while, and then it was reported that they had backed out. I want to let it be known because I know that the Jalen Ramsey comments came out. We talked about this before. A lot of people have talked about this before. It was a pretty known thing that whatever Julio Jones got traded for, that basically every other team in the league was going to be that was it? We could have done that. And that's exactly what happened. Rams fans did it. I even said that was going to happen. I think Pat McAfee said that was going to happen. I think Colin Cowherd said that was going to happen. I think Rich Eisen said that was going to happen. So pretty standard. I mean, I think that's what we all expected. But at the same time, with Shannon Sharp pulling his absolutely ridiculous stunt on live TV, the Falcons had no shot at pulling off a 1 after that. The reports of them getting offered a 1, I think, are total bogus. I didn't buy that for 1 second that they were getting offered a 1. Because also, why would you get offered a 1 and then accept an offer that the highest pick is a 2? It makes no sense. If you could get a 1, you take a 1, especially in a situation where you have no control. So I know that I was pretty stoked on the Julio Jones potential of becoming an LA Ram. I was excited about it. I know many of you guys were as well. I know that kind of split most fan bases. It was one of those situations where a lot of people wanted this guy on different fan bases and different teams. But there was also like a whole group that did not want him at all. That was kind of like, nah, he's a little older. Like, why are we giving stuff up for this guy? We got to pay him, and also we got to lose stuff to get him. Like, what's the point kind of thing? And yeah, I mean, that all checks out, but also Julio Jones is an incredible talent. So I don't know why I would not want Julio Jones instead of a second-round pick, I guess, is the right way to think about that. Because second-round pick, that's a crapshoot right there. You have no idea if that guy's going to be worth anything. But Julio Jones, he's going to make your offense that much more dynamic. So it's... I was a little bummed out to see it happen, but whatever. It's not a big deal. I also, like I mentioned last week, that I didn't really think it was a need for the Rams to go for a wide receiver. I like the wide receiver group that the Rams have right now. It's pretty loaded up, honestly. Julio Jones just would have made it, more difficult for some of these lower roster guys to make this team. Because obviously we know that Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Deshaun Jackson, Van Jefferson, these guys are making the team. Tutu Atwell, these guys are there already. So adding Julio, that probably would have been our wide receivers. It probably would have been Julio, Woods, Kupp, Jefferson, Jackson, and Tutu. That's probably all we would have kept. So anybody else below that, Simba, Skoranek, all those guys, they would have probably been booted, honestly. So, hey, it's not too bad, and it gives another one of these younger guys a shot. And also, well, I mean, one of the things here that worked out for the Rams is he did not go to a different NFC West team. He did not go to the Cardinals, the 49ers, or the Seahawks. And those all teams were in the conversation. As early as a week ago, we talked about it on this show on, the 2nd, that we talked about that they were still in the hunt for Julio. Those teams were still having conversations. It seemed like the Seahawks were the most realistic of those ones. The Cardinals definitely didn't need to add another weapon at the wide receiver spot, but they're still in potential Zach Ertz situations. So, I mean, I don't know, but I'm glad that he didn't go to a different NFC West team. The unfortunate part of that is in Week 9, Sunday Night Football at SoFi Stadium. He will still be in LA playing the LA Rams, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of Ramsey versus Jones, and that's going to be obviously some must-see TV because we'll get Darius Williams on A.J. Brown, and also don't forget that is exactly where former Ram Josh Reynolds is now playing, so we'll see him as well. So Tannehill's got some weapons out there for sure. With the Titans, and then Derrick Henry, we all know him. He's the offensive Aaron Donald, So maybe is that too? No, I don't know. That guy's incredible, man. I don't know. I don't know if that's too much or not, but we do see them in Week 9. So as Julio Jones will not be playing for the Los Angeles Rams, he will still be playing at the Los Angeles Rams venue this season under the lights at SoFi Week 9. So that'll be pretty cool stuff. Let's go ahead and shift our focus to minicamp now. And we saw a couple of things that have popped in so far. We're in day 2 right now. I don't know if I've seen, I don't think I've seen any updates from today. I think most of these will be from yesterday, as far, cause I'm getting off work right now, and then I just kind of hit record. So I tried to look up some stuff. I didn't see anything additional that was really pressing or anything. So Jalen Ramsey showed up. He, of course, was not at the voluntary camps just recently, but now, of course, these are mandatory. He is there now. He showed up wearing uniform number 5, and immediately national media outlets were like, Jalen Ramsey changed his number. He's number 5 now. We do not have any kind of confirmation that Jalen Ramsey is now rocking number 5 instead of number 20. And part of this also that kind of ties in is that Cam Akers came out wearing number 23. He's no longer number 23. He was last year, but now he's just wearing number 3. So Jalen Ramsey coming out in minicamp wearing the number 5 doesn't really tell us anything. I don't think that this is a number change. I think that I want to say the number was like $619,000 that he would need to spend to buy out his jersey stock so that he could change his number. I don't know if he's willing to do that or not. I mean, he's got it, but let's not pretend like just because he's a millionaire that $619,000 isn't a good chunk of change just to change your number. That's still money. That's still a lot of money, even if you're a millionaire, okay? It's not like saying, it's like, oh, that'd be like paying nickels for us or whatever. That's still a lot of money. I don't think I would want to pay that if I was a millionaire still, so I'm not sure. But we don't have any kind of confirmation that a number change is actually happening for Jalen Ramsey. So as it stands today, at time of recording, which is 6:02, then we still don't have any kind of confirmation that number is changing. Some other notes here out of minicamp. Tutu Atwell and Jacob Harris have been invited to the NFLPA Rookie Premiere, so that's pretty cool stuff. We don't really see a lot of Rams go to this anymore just because the Rams don't really pick that high, but that's totally cool. But they'll be out there taking some action shots for the Panini cards and stuff. We've seen this. I mean, Todd Gurley was there. Sean Mannion did it. I'm trying to remember everybody. I don't know if they did it last year because of COVID going on, but... Actually, I don't remember. I don't think so. I would doubt it. I would doubt that they would do the rookie premiere with COVID going on. They didn't do a lot of things with COVID going on, so I'm sure they did not. But Tutu and Jacob Harris will be there this time, so that's pretty cool stuff. Those rookies, those are two guys also that figure to be a decent part of the Rams' plans this year. They seem to be like they're fitting in where they might actually be able to contribute this year, maybe a little bit more than we've seen rookies contribute under the Sean McVay era. We just haven't really seen it that much. Most guys get their jump in playing time comes in year 2. Of course, last year we did see it at the safety position with Jordan Fuller. Terrell Burgess was in there until he got hurt, but then Jordan Fuller did play a decent amount last year. Cam Akers, we know as well. He played a decent chunk, but I'm thinking I think the best example is like a guy like Van Jefferson, where they get talked up, and maybe he had a sweet catch in week 1 against the Cowboys on the left sideline. There it was over the shoulder, and then he fell down as he caught it. But that he just didn't really get a lot of playing time this year. So I anticipate jumps from our second year guys, but I think that we do have some rookies this year that I think will be able to come in and make an impact. Speaking of second year guys making an impact. Based on some of Sean McVay's comments, it does kind of look like we might see Cam Akers line up at the wide receiver position at some point this year in some capacity. Basically, what was said by Sean McVay was that he likes his ability to catch the ball and that he likes him in the slot as well as outside lined up at receiver. So this is a very real possibility that that's something that we could see Cam Akers just kind of moving around a little bit. And with the way that our running back situation is now, with Darrell Henderson also there, I mean, this totally makes sense that we could see this. But also, I mean, we just mentioned a little bit earlier, Rams got wide receivers for days, so we'll be fine in that spot. We don't need Cam Akers to take wide receiver reps, but it's kind of cool that he potentially can. So I'll take it. Let's go ahead and talk about our new uniforms that we're supposed to get pretty soon, hopefully soon. We're all still waiting, Kevin Demoff, all right? So we're trying to see. I have not found anything real on when this is going to, when these new uniforms are going to get released. But the rumors are just saying that we're pretty close. But also, I mean, we're in June, so that makes sense. The season is not far away. We get preseason games pretty quick. They're coming up, you know what I mean? So Denver is the one that I'll be at because I live in Colorado. But if you guys are going to be out here, let me know. We'll meet up, drink beers and stuff in the parking lot and inside. Yeah, we'll do it both. But we don't know exactly when these are going to come out. It is already June, so it's got to be soon, right? Rumors. I've seen a lot of rumors on what style this could be. I've seen rumors saying we're going to get a black jersey. I've seen rumors saying that we're going to get a white jersey. And I've seen rumors that we're going to get a yellow jersey. I think black is highly unlikely. I don't think we get a black uniform. It's a little bit... I put cliche. I don't think that that's the right word. I think it's a little bit cartoony, I guess, to have a black uniform when black is not in your color scheme. I think it's kind of corny to do that. I think that some of the concepts that have come out, they look kind of cool or whatever, but I just don't think that they're real at all. I don't think they're close to being real, so I don't really pay too much attention to concept uniforms, anything like that, but we've seen a lot of these come out. I don't think white either, but I think white makes a lot more sense than black. But also, I think the yellow is extremely realistic. If we have a blue, a bone, and a yellow, that just makes sense to me. And then maybe next year we get the white because we are supposed to get another jersey next year as well. But yeah, we don't have black in our color scheme, so I see no reason that the Rams would add a white, or a black, I mean. But also... I think another blue would make sense, something without the gradient numbers, but, we also just did our media day, though, and our media day just happened, and they're just recording with the blue and the bone that we already have, so I don't actually know what's happening with this, but Kevin Demoff is being pretty quiet. Some I guess rumors or / guesses, I guess is the better way to say it, have said that June 10th, that practice is being held at SoFi Stadium, which if you guys are listening to me on the 9th on the podcast version of this, that is tomorrow. If it is the 10th now, then it is tonight or it is today. And some rumors have said that that's where the unveiling is going to happen. I see that as a very big unlikely situation unfolding because the Rams, they tend to announce announcements, and as of recording of the 9th, it's Wednesday evening right now, we have not seen any kind of promotional stuff saying like, hey, come on out, we're going to get our new uniform. I think that that's something that the Rams would have done, so I don't know if that's, I doubt that that's going to happen. If it did, that would be a very big shock because like I said, the Rams announce announcements all the time. That is a pretty regular thing for this team, is coming out and saying, hey, in 1 week from today, or hey, in 5 days, we're going to do this. We're going to unveil our logo. We're going to unveil our uniforms, anything like that. As we've seen that historically speaking, they kind of hype up the announcements like that. And we haven't seen anything saying that June 10th we'll get our new jersey. So I don't think it's going to happen. I still got my money stashed. I'm still just waiting. I've got money stashed for a Matthew Stafford new jersey, a new whatever style the Rams released jersey. I'm waiting, but they are not releasing it. So I'm probably not going to get it till like Thanksgiving at this rate because I know how much like even these like the hats, those took forever to come in when everything was released. It was a pain in the beginning of this to get the new logos on stuff. But you know, we'll see what happens, I guess, and I don't think it's going to be right now. I think we'll see an announcement of an announcement. Before we hop into our break, though, I do need to let you guys know, by the way, crazy weekend, was not able to record any cool commercials or anything. But I do want to hype up ComptonMania again, because, guys, the closer this gets, the more excited that I am. And I can't even go. I can't even be there because it is in California, but that's where you guys need to be, all right? It's ComptonMania.com is where you're going to head, and I'm telling you guys, these guys are awesome, all right? Not only genuinely just great people, but they're also hilarious, all right? And they've got so many things going on. It's the Ghetto Gauntlet. There's 20 people out there just battling it out to be the MFM champion. This is going to be so cool, guys. Check out ComptonMania.com. Go pick up some tickets. Go and tell them that Sheriff Joe Bag sent you. You need to go find these dudes and tell them that Sheriff Joe Bag sent you. Some of these guys, I'm not even, because this is like a family-friendly show, I like to keep it family-friendly, which this is a family-friendly event, but there's a couple of names that I'm not going to say because this is a family-friendly show, but kids welcome. There's going to be food. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a great time. It is June 26th, later this month, and it is the Ghetto Gauntlet, ComptonMania. ComptonMania.com, or search ComptonMania on Facebook or Instagram. That's exactly where you need to be. Exactly where you need to be. The Ghetto Gauntlet. Will you survive? There's only one way to find out. All right, we're going to hit a quick break, and on the other side, we got the Matthew Stafford Effect Part 2 and our fan quesos, so don't go anywhere. What's up, Rams fans? I'm Sheriff Joe Bags, and you need to know about Shaw's Customs. Custom vinyl decals are the best way to show all the other cars in traffic what you are most passionate about. Deals on vinyl packs right now with 7 different logos in yellow, white, or blue. Custom shot glasses and beer mugs for brewskis with the broskies. That's not all. No way. Superhero and political decals also available. Visit the link in the description and check it out for yourself. Tell Josh that Sheriff Joe Bag sent you. You won't get a deal, but he'll get a kick out of it. Shaw's Customs. Welcome back in, Rams fans. So we got the Matthew Stafford Effect. This is part 2. We did a part 1 quite a while ago, and I kind of anticipated this being a more regular segment, but this was a pretty quiet offseason for the Rams. Of course, we got the Matthew Stafford deal before the Super Bowl even happened. And then really, we signed Deshaun Jackson. That was like our move. That was letting some of our guys go to other teams and then signing Deshaun Jackson. So it wasn't like we did that part of it. And the more I thought about it, because I've had plenty of time to think about this now, the more I thought about it, This Matthew Stafford effect is more long-term than it is short-term just this offseason. All right? But there's a couple of things about this Stafford deal that I think are being, I guess, overlooked. I don't know if people are not giving this trade enough credit. I don't know if the improvement from Jared Goff to Matthew Stafford is getting really recognized in the way that I think it should. Maybe I'm a little biased. Maybe I'm not. But I like Jared Goff. I was a Jared Goff guy. I think, I really wanted him to succeed. Like, I liked him out of college. I think he's got a great deep ball. I think he got into his own head. I think he was overthinking himself. I think he got paid, went to the Super Bowl, and relaxed a little bit. But I don't think that you can legitimately say that Matthew Stafford's not an upgrade. I used to be so critical of Matthew Stafford, too. Coming out of college and stuff, I was not a Matthew Stafford guy. But part of that was he was a little bit loose with it at first, He would just kind of just be kind of launching it all over the place. And then he had Calvin Johnson for quite a while. And Calvin Johnson would catch the ball in triple, quadruple coverage and for touchdowns and stuff. And so the second that happened, that Johnson retired, it was like, okay, well, now we get to see who Matthew Stafford is. And I think he got better with the departure of Calvin Johnson because he couldn't just be like, and just like throw it up and then get a touchdown because Calvin Johnson's on the receiving end of that. So this is a quote that I heard quite a long time ago. And I don't know why it really pops into my head for this, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its entire life believing that it is an idiot. Urgency is a common theme right now with this Rams team. Urgency. We've got some guys who are on the back end of their careers who maybe haven't had that much playoff success. And we have a team right now that can kind of put that together. We got Andrew Whitworth, Matthew Stafford. I don't want to necessarily put Aaron Donald into that just yet. He's just now 30 years old. He's by no means over the hill or anything. But we have a team together right now that can win. And eventually this cap stuff, it will kind of catch up to us, at least a little bit. I mean, there's only so many times you can push back numbers and reconfigure things before you got to pay that money eventually. But right now, this team is set up to make a push. Right now. The Rams roster is one of the best in the league right now, today. Especially in the NFC. I mean, there's some good teams out there. There's some really good teams out there right now. The Rams, they're up there. All right, so Matthew Stafford, 33. Eventually, salary cap will catch up to the Rams. That's the part that is driving the urgency factors here. So, how big is this Super Bowl window? I don't know yet. I kind of want to see this team with Stafford this year, but the window is open. It is open. The Super Bowl window for this LA Rams team, it is open right now. You look at some of the other teams in the NFC. Green Bay doesn't even have their MVP right now. He's being classified as an official holdout. He's not at mandatory camp. You look at Tampa Bay. They bring back all 22 starters and they're coming off of a Super Bowl. I don't think that we will see them just kind of come in like, hey, we're the best. But it's possible. It is a very real thing. Will Tom Brady let that happen? I don't know. Will Bruce Arians let that happen? I don't know. But there's going to be some guys on this team that have that mindset of like, we just won the Super Bowl and we have the same exact team. We are not stoppable. Therefore, you are. Is that possible? Yes, it's absolutely possible. But here's the deal. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its entire life believing that it's an idiot. If you judge a quarterback by his ability to win games for the Detroit Lions, most NFL fans will believe that he's just not very good. Matthew Stafford for the Detroit Lions. He can't do it all himself, guys, all right? This is a better offensive line, better running game, more weapons, better defense, better coaching staff, better stadium, better city than he's ever played in. And you guys there's still people that think that he's got something to prove to you. To Steve sitting on the couch, eating Doritos. He needs to prove it to you. He was with the Detroit Lions, man. Matt Patricia was his coach most recently. Not very good situation over there, all right? Yeah, he had Calvin Johnson, and none of these Rams receivers are better than Calvin Johnson. But that was all they had, was Calvin Johnson. We got Woods, Kupp, Jackson, Jefferson, Atwell, Harris, Higbee, Akers. A great offensive line, great coaching. I go through it all the time. I always do. But if you judge a quarterback by his ability to win games for the Detroit Lions, most NFL fans are going to think that he's trash. That's just the way it is. The problem here is the amount of time that Stafford did play for the Lions. Is it too late for him to really make a big impact for the in a different NFL team? The LA Rams. I don't think it's too late, but I do believe that in 5 years is what I'm giving Stafford. I think that we'll have him for 5. I don't know how much further we would get him after that, if at all. 5 years, though, I think is real. And in 5 years, I don't think we lose Donald. We may or may not have Ramsey, but, I think that a lot of these players will still be here. We got a young team right now. I mean, of course, Whitworth, if he's still playing in 5 years, I have so many questions. But I think a good chunk of these guys will still be here in 5 years. But I think that we're going to look back at this trade 5 years from now going, man, can you believe that we almost didn't do that, or that almost didn't work out, or we could have just kept Goff and those ones, but it worked out. I really think that that's what the conversations we're going to be having at the end of this. The real Matthew Stafford effect, it really won't be felt for years. Will this be the year? I don't know. I don't necessarily think so. I don't know if this is the year that the Rams make that big, huge push and that Matthew Stafford's fighting for MVP and we're winning the Super Bowl this year. I don't think so. I mean, I think that we have a shot at that, but really next year is the one that I'm looking at. A quarterback switching to a new team typically makes a big jump year 1 to year 2 in a new offense. And Matthew Stafford has never played for this offense. Under a Sean McVay offense, that's exciting stuff, guys. I mean, Jared Goff's out there talking about that he feels empowered by the Lions coaches and stuff, and that's awesome. I wish Jared Goff all the best. But Matthew Stafford has never had an offense this dynamic, with this many dynamic weapons, with this kind of offensive coach, where he can also, because Stafford's been doing it longer, he can go to McVay and say, I'm seeing this. Jared Goff couldn't do that. Because Jared Goff, when Sean McVay showed up, had 7 starts, and they were all under Jeff Fisher. He had no idea what he was looking at until Sean McVay showed up. Sean McVay was Jared Goff's eyeballs. Now, Sean McVay has eyeballs on the field in Matthew Stafford that can help him. It won't be felt for years, but I think it's real. Let's go ahead and go into some fan quesos here. We did get just a few, so nothing too crazy here. But let's go ahead and start with Paul. I should have thought about your question a little bit more, Paul, because I read it, I thought about it for a second, and then work got busy, and then I just did that. Could you believe they want me to do my job when I'm there all day? God, so selfish. Anyway, Paul's question, what food isn't a tailgate item that should be? I love Gary's response to this, by the way, which was queso. That is such a good answer, man. That is such a good answer. Okay, I'll be real with you, Paul. I have not been to that many tailgates. And all of the ones that I have gone to, it's like I had a sandwich and then beers. So that's kind of my understanding of tailgates. At least that's the Sheriff Joe Bag's consumption at a tailgate is usually beer. At the 2018 game, I don't think I was really drinking that year. I think I had like a half a beer, and I was like, I don't even want this. But it was also like 20 degrees, and it was like, I don't know, it was cold and stuff, and there were so many people, and it was so much fun to meet everybody and stuff. I was just kind of enjoying it. I didn't want to like ruin my brain, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to just be there, be present for it. I didn't want to alter that at all. I just wanted to remember everything. So I didn't want to be drinking that much. But as far as a tailgate food item that is not necessarily there that should be, Oh, man, I don't want to ask for suggestions because I feel like I always do that to Paul's questions, but I need your suggestions for sure. But I will say, yeah, biscuits and gravy. I don't care. It's one of my favorite foods. Yeah. All right. Next one here is from Gary. Okay, give me your projected stat line for Stafford. All right, so I think Stafford's going to do. I think he's going to do well. As far as completion percentage, I'm gonna put him at like the 67. As far as the stat line, the adding of a game this year makes it a little difficult to predict because who knows what's going to happen with that. But I will say that Stafford puts up. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say 49-50. But then next year, he becomes our first 5K passer. That's what I'll say. I'm going to say 49-50. I'm going to give him, I'm going to say 34 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. So 49-50, 34-14. That's going to be my stat line for Stafford. Write it down. And come back to me at the end of the season. Because if I'm wrong, that's totally fine. I'm wrong a lot of times. That's fine with me. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm willing to admit it. Next one here is going to come from PJ. PJ wants to know what UDFA do you hope makes the cut? As far as my personal preferences, George Sylvanik, local boy out of Monument, Colorado, played at the Air Force Academy, which is the local football team for myself out here in Colorado Springs in the 719. But Sylvanik is one of those guys for sure. I would like to see him make the squad. But one of the names that I kind of just, I don't know what it is necessarily that kind of just this guy keeps falling into my brain the second I talk about UDFAs, which is going to be Paris Ford at safety. I really think that this dude has a shot to make this squad. I don't know if I would put him into hopes because I don't know him, you know what I mean? Like, I hope all these guys do well. I know that much, but I also hope that the 53 best make this team. I have no real hopes as far as anything else. I just hope that the 53 best guys that we have are the ones that make the team. I don't want to see, cuts for money, anything like that. I hate seeing that. That sucks. It sucks when you see a guy leave because he makes too much money and you got to go with somebody else that's maybe not as good. That's always a whole bag of bummers. So I'm going to go for my hopes. I'm going to say Sylvanik because we lost Morgan Fox, who was our local boy out of Fountain, Colorado. So now we'll go with Monument, Colorado for Sylvanik. And also, if you guys pronounce it Colorado, I don't think we're friends, actually. It's Colorado, all right? I live here. I'm from here. I promise. Next one here is going to come from Alex. Which rookie do you think is going to make the biggest impact at their position? I'm torn between Robert Rochelle and Jacob Harris. There's three names to me that really stand out as far as like the potential high impact rookies. And that is Tutu Atwell at wide receiver, tight end Jacob Harris, and cornerback Robert Rochelle. Those three names are the names that, and you know what? I'll add a fourth to that actually, Ernest Jones at linebacker. The more time that passes, the more that it looks like he's probably going to have a pretty important role this year. I know that in my, I got called out for it, it's in the comment section. I know that I put out a video saying, talking about the impact levels that I think that these guys will have year one and year two. And my impact level for Jones was pretty low. But the more time that passes, where he's actually calling some stuff out on defense and stuff, that's a very real possibility that he could come in. But also, we need to look at Media Day as some sort of clues, all right? So seeing like the hype videos where it's Leonard Floyd and Obo, that tells us something, all right? Because that stuff's going to be on the screen. And if they're not expecting Obo to start and it's Leonard Floyd in a backup, let's just say, for example, that's going to look weird on the screen. You know what I mean? So that's also what keeps me pretty confident that guys like David Long will have a pretty big role because he's in those videos with Burgess and Fuller. And I really do think that that's an important tell is what happens in Media Day, who's paired up together and doing things. You know what I mean? Like That's my impression, apparently. But who's doing this stuff? Because if the second that one of those guys is like hurt or doesn't make the team or whatever, is a backup, whatever, then that video is kind of irrelevant. If Obo is a special teamer, why are you going to have a hype video of him and Leonard Floyd on the screen? You know what I mean? So I think it's pretty telling. But as far as the rookies, and I'm giving you 4, but I will pick one here, is going to be the 4 that I think will have a pretty decent impact. Wide receiver Tutu Atwell, tight end Jacob Harris, cornerback Robert Rochelle, and linebacker Ernest Jones. Dang it, I want to add a 5th too, because I think Bobby Brown really does get a lot of playing time. Oh, guys. This is the weirdest problem I've ever had. This is the weirdest problem I've ever had on this show, where I feel too good about some of our rookies. Because our rookie classes have not, I don't want to say they've been weak, because they haven't been, but they've been, like, year 1 has not been a big year. But this year, I feel good about some of these guys actually being contributors. I will say that I think Bobby Brown, I'd put him ahead of Jones right now as far as impact levels, but all right, so to give you my answer, though, I think that that's going to be Jacob Harris. I think Jacob Harris ends up having the biggest impact in this rookie class this season. Long term, I think Robert Rochelle is the best one that comes out of this class. But I think that this year, and for what the Rams offense is probably going to look like, you got to look at Jacob Harris. I really, really want to stop seeing the Megatron comparisons due to his size, his speed, stuff like that. Which, I mean, yeah, those are reasonable factors. But also, Calvin Johnson was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Can we not put that kind of pressure on a tight end right now? All right. He's just a rookie. All right. Can we just let him play a little bit before we're like, this guy's amazing. He's first ballot Hall of Fame, because we don't know anything about that yet. Yeah, I feel pretty good about Jacob Harris having a big impact, but let's not put him into that category quite yet. Let's at least let him see preseason at least. At least, guys. He hasn't even worn NFL shoulder pads yet, and we're already crowning this guy as the next Megatron? That's a little extreme, okay? Maybe use high voice. But I will say Jacob Harris this year, Robert Rochelle long term. I read this really cool article. It was short and very vague, but it did give a little bit of more information, which I ended up looking into. But it was talking about Robert Rochelle and the analytics that the Rams have been using for the draft classes, and that Robert Rochelle, I can't remember the 4th name. There's one more name I'm going to miss. But Derwin James, Jalen Ramsey, and Robert Rochelle, and there was one other name that I'm blanking on right now. Feel free to drop it in the comments. But there's one other name, and it's like those 4 guys are like the only ones that like fit all these analytics, and they're all amazing. So Robert Rochelle included in that group. We'll see if he is truly amazing, and if those analytics that the Rams have been doing for the draft, if those actually do translate to the football field. We will, of course, see that this year. There is football this year. So I think that Robert Rochelle has a real shot at being a very, very good player for this team. And I don't want to say too early or anything like that, but I mean, Darius Williams is going to be expensive. And if Robert Rochelle can come in and absolutely crush some souls this year, then I feel decent about letting maybe Darius Williams go to a different team and then having Robert Rochelle on the outside if David Long can continue to progress as well. We've got some pieces there, but we don't need to necessarily worry about that. That's a conversation that we can have after the Rams win the Super Bowl at SoFi this year. But we'll have that conversation later on going into the offseason, but we'll see how it goes first, because I'll try to remember this. I'll put it in my brain tank here, and we'll try to remember that I'm making these comments about Rochelle possibly overtaking D-Will. It's obviously way too early to say that. I'll give myself the advice of, how about we let him play at least in some preseason games before we crown him a starter next year. But I think that Rochelle's got a real shot at being a pretty good player in this league. My last question here is going to come from Keith, and Keith wants to know, what's your favorite outlet covering the Bucs? You know, man, I'm not really a Milwaukee fan. I'm just kidding. All right, so obviously Keith is out of the Bucs Report. Some incredible dudes over there, by the way. You'll see them. You guys will meet some of those guys right here on Rams Showcase coming up into when the season starts. So what do we got them? Week 3, I think it is. So we'll definitely get them on the show. I'll be on their shows if you guys want to check those out as well. Just talking about these games. Those are great dudes over there. We kind of get some like friendly banter going back and forth and stuff like that, and some good trash talk and all that. It's like, they were talking about they won the Super Bowl, but they didn't beat us last year, so I was talking about that. But yeah, some really cool shows over there. Really good dudes. But by then, we will absolutely be doing live shows again because we're getting set up here. We've got all the equipment now to bring back the live shows. I just want to. It'll be soon. Honestly, I just want to schedule it out and make sure that it's right. But that does mean that these shows will probably be releasing on Wednesday, as they'll be recorded on Wednesday. That schedule, I don't want to change that schedule at all. So Ram Showcase release date will probably be changing as far as YouTube and when you can watch me on YouTube. But I will still be cutting up the show, doing the clips, the RS clips that I've been putting out as well. But yeah, Ram Showcase Live is coming back pretty soon. Next week is a weird week for me. The schedule will probably change. I'll update on social media if it does. But yeah, I want to bring back live shows. I've missed it, man. I've missed the live shows. I used to just do live, audio shows back in the day, and back in like Ram Showcase's infancy, But yeah, I miss it. I like doing that a lot. I don't have any problems with live shows. Most of it, I just record straight through on here, so there's no like jump cuts and stuff. You don't see me like sitting here, then over here, and then over here. That's how that works. And yeah, so you don't see any of that. I just kind of record straight through. So live shows, I don't think will change that much. Just need to get some stuff in order, and then we'll be good to go. But yeah, we'll be doing that. I don't want to get, I guess, too detailed on the things that are happening as far as that goes, but some pretty cool stuff. Be working with some really good guys. So Bucks Report will be part of that liveness when the live time comes. But I was on one of their shows pretty recently. I don't even know the name of it, honestly, but they asked me what I had for dinner. I don't know what the show was, but those guys were great. Those guys were funny. They were cool to talk to. It was awesome stuff. But yeah, well, you guys will meet all of them, definitely. But yeah, as far as Bucks coverage goes, which I don't necessarily seek out very often, the Bucks Report is the place to go for sure. If you guys know any Bucks fans, such as my sister, if you guys know my sister, let her know. Bucks Report. Doubt it, but I think my sister knows 4 people. I'm 3 of them, and then her daughter, I guess. But yeah, that is all for me. Make sure you guys follow Ram Showcase on all your favorite social media. That would be at Ram Showcase on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook.com/Ram Showcase. You can follow myself as well at Sheriff Joe Bags on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook.com/Sheriff Joe Bags. Make sure you guys follow it up. It's real simple. Make sure you search Ram Showcase, drop likes, drop subscribes, share this with all your friends, show your mom. Dad, uncle, he wants to see this. So just send him a link. Don't say any words. Just send him a link to the full show and just be like, hey, did you catch it? And then he'll have to watch the whole thing. So that'll work out. But that is going to do for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you that are Rams fans, thank you guys so much for listening, and you guys have a great night.